again to another edition of Go Figure. I'm your host yet again. I know it's getting monotone, but anyway. Today I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite Marvel heroes, Thor, son of Odin, and whoops. And here is my whole army of characters related to Thor and some of his enemies and allies, and I'll try and cover all of them today with you. Majority of these come from Marvel Legends or from the pre-Marvel Legends when they were just smaller in size, so around 5 inch. But anyway, let's get the show on the road. Let's start from this side here. The first in line, I could start with this lady right here. She is Valkyrie from the Marvel Legends Hasbro 2-pack. She came with the Hulk figure. And she comes with both of her accessories, the sword and the shield. The sword is the one she uses in most of her battles, and it's called Shadowfang. And then right after that we have a Marvel Select Thor in one of his newer costumes. That's one of my favorites, at least when it comes to that design, but we do have another one which is pretty much the same costume, but it comes from Marvel Legends Hasbro, and you can tell that there is some slight differences in the sculpting and the design. Both of them are very well done nonetheless, and they come with the Mjolnirs in both cases. And then one of the lesser known characters to me personally is this fellow called Asgardian, and he's from the Young Avengers box set. I honestly don't know a great deal about him other than I understand that he's also possessing some powers that are same or similar to that of Thor. He was supposed to come with a walking stick, which I unfortunately did not get when I got this figure because I got it separately from the box set. But nonetheless, he fits into the whole idea and the world of Thor. One of other Thor's allies would be Beta Ray Bill. I'll just move this one out of the way. Beta Ray Bill with his hammer that's quite different from Thor's because it's a different shape, and it was again given to him for a purpose because he was able to wield Thor's hammer. Beta Ray Bill's hammer is called the Stormbreaker, and he deserved it after defeating Thor in hand-to-hand combat. After that, I will show you another Beta Ray Bill, which is from a much older series, from way before Marvel Legends even existed. It's this particular Beta Ray Bill. This is from a 1997 toy line, Silver Surfer toy line, based on a short-lived cartoon series from that same year. I like this particular Beta Ray Bill a lot more due to the fact that he has chrome pieces on him, such as the hammer itself, and then the shoulder pads and the boots. And I like his stance and that he's chunky in appearance and has a nice big cape. So in my opinion he looks quite a bit better than the Marvel Legends one, which came many years later. But in reality I guess both of them have something good to offer. It's just that my personal preference is this one here. After that, I'll show you this particular one. This is a Marvel Select original classic Thor. The way he looked in the original comics way back at the beginning of it all. He was a Disney exclusive toy, and he appeared being reissued yet again about few years later. I like this particular one because this is the most classic look of Thor you can ever get. And then another classic Thor, but this one came from Marvel Legends Toy Biz in one of the early waves. Nobody among the fans usually would find fault with the expression on his face, which was more like a very sour look, I guess, and many people didn't like that. But nonetheless, I still think he came out rather well. I wish that his hand that holds the hammer was not articulated because he has a hard time holding onto it. The hammer keeps falling out most of the time. But if we exclude that minor complaint on my part, I think the figure looks still pretty amazing. After that, we'll switch to something completely different, as they say in Monty Python Flying Circus. This would be the Marvel Select Ultimate Thor from the Ultimate Comics about the Ultimate Avengers. He looks quite a bit different than your typical classic Thor. He doesn't even have a helmet or a cape or anything like that. It's a slightly different re-envisioning of the character, but even his hammer looks very different. But nonetheless, he still looks pretty well, and in my opinion, not as such a bad figure. A little bit stiff in appearance, but nonetheless, he's not so bad. I still like it. Anything related to Thor, I actually like it. Doesn't matter which appearance it is or which costume it is, it's still Thor. This particular one was made specifically for kids during the first movie of Thor, and he has very little articulation, only basic articulation, moving arms up and down, legs up and down, and the head left and right. He comes with a hammer, and he's made to look pretty much like Chris Hemsworth. And it's not a bad looking figure, nonetheless. This is as close as you can get to Chris Hemsworth, as far as I'm concerned. But nonetheless, there is one more that also supposed to represent Chris Hemsworth, and this one is from Marvel Select. And I will try to put him side by side here. Or actually, I'll hold on for him. The Marvel Select one has a problem of standing on his own due to the fact that his cape is a little bit too long. And then if you try to lean him onto it or anything, he will just keel right over. That's the only annoyance there. But if you can find a way to stand them, I'm sure you can do that by just leaning him up against the shelf. So you can tell there is quite a bit of a difference between the two of them, and neither of them comes with a helmet, which is kind of strange in my opinion. Why would you have Thor without helmet? But okay, he does wear it in the movie, at least in the first one for a while. So that would be that particular one. Now let's move on to this version of Thor, which many people may not like because he's yet again from a much older series, and this is not Marvel Legends. This Thor comes from Revengers Reborn from Toy Biz in the year 1996, and that was the only single wave of figures ever made. He came together with Reborn Iron Man and Scarlet Witch in her classic costume and Loki. Now I will show you that particular Loki I'm talking about, who came together with him in the same wave. Whoops. Let's just attach this for a moment. Okay, this is the Loki I'm talking about. He came in that same series as the Thor here, and he came with a magic crystal ball of some sort and a cloth cape at the back, and this is his comic book appearance from that time period. And both of them look rather well. Thor's expression is a little bit strange, a little bit too angry for my taste, but nonetheless this was one of my favorites when he came out a long time ago. One of the very first Thors I ever had. And I was still happy with him. We all knew that sooner or later they were probably going to make a better one as the things progressed. Now, yet again, one of my favorites. The most favorites, due to the fact he's wearing a beard and a very awesome looking armor. He comes with his hammer and Mjolnir. And this is the version of Thor called the Asgardian Armor Thor. By far, I would say the best of all the Thors I have. I think he's by far the best.